Every American loves paying taxes, right? Wrong. I can honestly say that I don't think anyone agrees with that statement that they love paying taxes. Now, I want you to look at it at a point of view of somebody else. Imagine that you went to school after high school for more than 14 years. You accumulated a ton of student debt and you missed a lot of family time with your children, your spouse, and you missed out on a lot of opportunities. But eventually you end up with the dream job that you want and you're making quite a bit of money and you're able to pay off your student debt and spend time with your family and all these wonderful things. But now that you're making such a big amount of money, you now owe the government more than 50% of your taxes. Sound fun? No, not at all. This scenario is actually real. This is how my dad is. He went to school for more than 14 years to become a physician. And he missed a lot of times with my mom, me, my siblings, and he had a ton of student debt. But he now has an income where we're very well off and we never want for anything. Yet my dad has to pay more than 50% in taxes, which, does that sound fair? America uses a tax system called redistribution or progressive tax. A redistribution means the higher your income, the higher percentage you have to pay. The lower income, the lower percentage you have to pay. So, redistribution is more of a way of taking the upper class's money and giving it to the lower class's money. Well, giving it to the lower class. The government does this because they want to distribute wealth between the classes. They seem to want to make everything fair. Many Americans find the system to be fair and the best way to do taxes. They have this mentality that those that make a lot of money are obligated to help them out. I agree that there are many people that need welfare, and there are many who abuse it. In a statistic found in 2012, there were about 5,000 to 8,000 cases of fraud every year. And that statistic has actually grown since 2012. There are those that do not work hard because they know that the more that they work hard, the less benefits they will get. This ideal punishes the upper class and rewards the lower class. It punishes the upper class by making them pay a higher percentage because they work harder, and rewards the lower class by giving them a low percentage of taxes to pay, somewhat encouraging laziness. I don't want to offend anyone, but I've seen it. I've seen many people that have low incomes and they can get a bigger income, but they choose not to work hard because they get benefits for it. Why are we punishing the upper class for being successful? How can a country as great as the United States be so unfair to those that make it great and prosperous? Rather than a redistribution tax, I say that we should implement the flat tax. A flat tax is a system that applies the same tax rate to every taxpayer regardless of income bracket. A flat tax applies the same tax rate to all taxpayers. And I can say this because I know I'm talking to a bunch of Mormons or the LDS community. It's like tithing, a flat 10%. Right? It doesn't matter what your income is, you still pay a 10% of what that income is to the church. Many would argue that this isn't fair for the lower class. I can see why they would think this. They may not have as many opportunities as some of the upper class, but I would argue that redistribution is not fair to the upper class, and that flat tax is actually fair to all. The flat tax does not punish those that work hard, nor does it encourage those that do not. The president of Americans for Tax Reform, Grover Norquist, said that flat tax makes it more difficult for the government to divide Americans against one another. Norquist is implying that redistribution separates and divides us as a nation. I agree. The higher class seems to be angry at the lower class because they are getting money without doing anything. Their money. The lower class gets angry at the upper class because of their success and feel like they should help them out. This type of separation and resentment from the different classes is not good for our country. Our country seems to be separated on so many other things. There is no need for it to be separated with this, especially something so simple to fix. This concept of flat tax would, in my opinion, make both sides of the spectrum fair. Michael C. Burgess agrees. Well, yes, he agrees with me. He's a U.S. representative, and he said, the flat tax saves time, provides choice, restores fairness to the tax code. All of the points that Burgess pointed out are great and are perfect to explain flat tax, but above all, it's fair. It is fair for all taxpayers. Many people say that flat tax is a burden to low and middle class income payers, but this is not true. Americans have this ideal that if we were to do a flat tax, then it would just punish the lower class. In all reality, it might be harder for them because they would be actually paying their fair share in taxes. The burden of taxes fall completely on the upper class. Have you ever thought about what if the upper class just stopped working? There really is no incentive to work. They pay more than 50% of their taxes, so why not make a little less and work a little less? We would lose our entire economic system. It would crash. It would completely fail because we rely so much on the upper class. And it's not fair. To tie it all together, the government is doing taxes completely wrong. They are putting the burden of our country on the upper class, those who work hard and make an honest living. The government allows lower income Americans who don't work as hard and receive nothing. Well, they receive money for doing nothing. If the government would change the tax policy to a flat tax rather than redistribution, it would unite Americans and it would make it fair for all taxpayers. Thank you.